All right, good morning, folks. At least the webcam live works. Oh well, I really wanted to screen share with you this morning, but for some reason, when you get an update on game capture, it doesn't want to upload a stream anymore. But no worries, we can always still talk. And one thing I really wanted to start with today was something that was really interesting. The New York Times ran this article. This one actually, right there. How home ownership became the engine of American inequality. And when you read it, it's really shocking because I'm actually kind of tempted to make just sort of like a sizzly YouTube video about it. But what I really want you to take away from it is there's such a massive wealth gap between tenants and homeowners. The article says homeowners generally earn, or homeowners, people that own their houses, generally have a net worth of somewhere around $136,000, whereas tenants usually have a net worth of somewhere around $5,600. It's a 36-time difference there. And so I think so much of what we share here in the course of what we get to talk about and dialogue about here is about helping you, if you haven't yet, get started getting into real estate so you can build your wealth. I think it's dangerous for all of us to compare our deals to each other in one sense, because then we're thinking, oh, somebody got a good wedge over here, somebody has a good cash flow over here, somebody's got good appreciation in that market. But we should really start by looking at our backyards and going, how can we build our net worth? How can we get into a fourplex? You know what? Do we have the funds? Can we get into a 10, 20, 30 unit? Great, let's do it. But if we haven't started yet, do we maybe want to consider, that townhouse or that condo or that single family to get into, that duplex to house hack? A lot of great options, but really the more and more I read things like this, which every day I'm trying to keep up on real estate news and things that are going on in the marketplace. Folks, I appreciate you for linking here, so thank you for that. So right now we're going to start by answering some questions that we've got, and so we're going to start with Visha here has a question about how to take care of dog pee smell. I'm renting, have carpet, and it was shampooed, but the smell is still there. I guess it's seeped into the pad. So we're responding about 2 minutes into live. Here's the thing. If you're renting and you're the tenant, the odds are the tenant or the landlord probably did exactly that. You shampoo the carpet, the pad still has the urine saturated in it. And unfortunately, after a few weeks, that kind of smell or stains and all these issues can sometimes come back. So either way, you might be at the point of no return with a carpet like that. Now, fortunately, carpet is relatively inexpensive. Most, let's say, 2-bedroom, 2-bath places where you have carpet in the living room, goes down the hallway into the 2 bedrooms, you should be able to, for say $1,200 to $1,500, get a decent medium grade pad and some new carpet thrown down. So a lot of people don't like carpet when they're landlords, mostly for this reason. And oftentimes landlords that do have pets or that do have rental property where a tenant might be tempted to bring a pet, a lot of landlords say, hey, I just put new carpet down, no pets. Or if there's going to be a pet, there's going to be some more pet rent and a higher pet security deposit, because accidents happen with pets. So yeah, usually my rule of thumb is if you're a landlord and you have carpet, just don't allow pets. Because it is frustrating. Carpet goes fast with pets. So let's see what else we have here. We've got a question here from a 9C0D3. 9C0, there we go, responding around 352. I have 15K saved up. I have no debt, no school fees. My car is paid off. I'm actually thinking about flipping it, my car. Okay, cool. My goal is 25K cash to put down first on my first real estate property. So what I want to know is who would go ahead and just put down the 15K, and why should I save up for 25K? So I think some context is missing when we get questions like this. It's really important to ask yourself, so you have 15K. Should you sell your car and wait until you have 25K? Well, I think the correct answer is, do you need your car? Because if you need your car to make your living, you shouldn't sell your car. So, if you don't need your car, you get by without a car, maybe that's an option. But the other thing too that I like about having a paid off car is, think about it. It's kind of like an emergency asset. See, I personally don't love investing in the stock market, although I do. But it's mostly because when I put money into a paid off car or I put money into stocks, what am I in essence doing? I'm creating a safety blanket in different areas. So let's say I go do a real estate deal, and then I have some safety blankets stored away, some different stock accounts. I've got some cars and stuff like that. If something went really bad on a real estate deal, what could I in theory do now? I could sell off. I could reach into those stocks. I could take some money out. Even if the stocks are down, most of the stock is still going to be there, right? But I could sell, take some money out, sell the car. Who cares? Taking a loss, whatever. I need some money because an emergency came up. Now I'm buffering myself. Now, that's never happened before. I've never had to do that before. But when you think that way, that the mindset that, okay, the more assets I can have to sell, if things hit the fan, great. So a little, less inclined to suggest you sell possibly the only other asset you have to put every penny into real estate. I'd much rather see you maybe buy a less expensive property, put less money down. So always important to know where you're buying, though. That's the biggest question. Find out what the median home prices are in the area. If the median home price in your area is 200 grand, let's say, in theory, you could get in with $10,000 putting 5% down. So a lot of options, just depending on the median home prices and what exactly you're looking for. All right, now we've got Jay's got a question, and I'll be responding to live questions as well, so feel free to post as you have them. Check around 6:22 today. Question, can I get your perspective on my situation? My second property is free and clear, $650K worth of equity. Looking to buy my third. Congratulations, this is excellent. Look at that. My second property is free and clear with $650K of equity. That is amazing. Looking to buy a third property, definitely an apartment if I can find a deal that meets my requirements. I'm assuming you mean apartment building. How do you go about taking equity out to pay for the down payment on a third house? Would you recommend going to a bank or finding a lender for an equity loan? Would you recommend a home equity line or home equity loan or a home equity line of credit? What's your opinion? Let me know. All right. So my second property, which one are you living in? I can hear my second property is very clear. Okay. Either way, so here's my point of view on this. You own you own two properties. You're looking to buy a third. You're obviously living in one of these. You mentioned that one of them, your second property, is free and clear. Let's look at the free and clear property that has $650,000 of equity. There are a few options here. If you're living there and you want your payment to be flexible, you could take out the most debt with a home equity line of credit. I much prefer these over equity loans because you don't have a set repayment schedule. You just pay interest only on these, and then you start lopping off principal when you're comfortable to do it. Gives you a lot of flexibility. So if you're living in the property, I really like the home equity lines of credit. You could get up to 90% of a line. Now, I'm not suggesting that you want that because look, $650,000, you pull a line of 90%, you could go up to $585,000 that you could get a line of credit for against that property. That's massive. I don't even know that you need that much. I'd probably establish it for $585 and then maybe go spend $150K for a down payment and some fix up on a place. What's up, Daniel? That's probably what I would do. Now, if it is a rental property, you might try to find a bank like U.S. Bank or that might be, U.S. Bank. There's one other, Union Bank. U.S. Bank and Union Bank, they both did RELOCs, which is a rental property line of credit if this is a rental property. So it just depends. But those are some of my favorite options when you have equity in the house. If this is a rental property and you feel comfortable, you just want to lock in a 30-year fixed rate loan, the next best thing to do outside of a credit line is just get a 30-year fixed rate loan, cash out refinance, pull the money out of the deal, and go out, plop it into another deal. That'd be my direction for your situation there. But do give me some more detail there, and we can chat more about that. So let's see. Yeah. Now we're gonna answer some more questions here. Great discussion, by the way, between BG and Brandon, which actually BG has a deal that he just wrote an offer on. Hello, welcome. Let's see. Matt says, Kevin, property taxes starting to kill high tax markets such as New Jersey, Cali, and Texas. Can the market survive without the SALT deductions? Yeah, it actually can. The market's actually been doing great despite these taxes. Now, we did have a big depression last year. I guess I shouldn't really call it a depression, but the market was hit hard because of the limitation of the SALT taxes. We had the doubling of the standard deduction. We had interest rates going up. That's what caused our market to fall in many higher priced areas. In fact, most areas throughout the United States. Some areas that saw a lot of appreciation really were able to offset that. We had areas like Idaho Falls, for example. I'll show you here. Watch this. This is kind of cool. This is good for you to know. So this is always kind of funny when I do this webcam. It goes backwards, but whatever. So what we had in California, for example, last year's prices were going up, and then in the summer we kind of got hit, or we got this acceleration. We got hit, and I know this is backwards, but anyway, prices kind of fell, and we lost about 8 to 12%. We saw that in a lot of different areas. I know that's backwards for you, but just kind of go with it there for a sec. Now, what's interesting is certain areas get what's known as catch-up appreciation. And catch-up appreciation is really interesting, where if you get an area like Idaho Falls, Idaho, that sort of gets discovered, and so much money starts coming into the area, even though the overall economy, the overall real estate market might sort of depress by, say, something like 12%, 8%, something like that. If you have 17 or 20% appreciation in an area like that, where they're catching up because so many people are coming to that area, all of a sudden you still see positive growth in the area. So it's just an interesting point of view to keep in mind when it comes to appreciation, is that you can have catch-up appreciation in a certain area. Yeah, hold on a second though. All of my properties no longer cash flow due to the SALT deduction removal, thinking of getting rid of some. That doesn't quite make sense, because when any of your properties that are investment properties wouldn't be subject to the limitations on property taxes or the limitations on interest deductions, or really any of that, because rental properties get to write that off against their cash flow. So I don't know why any of that would have to do with your cash flow. The only reason your cash flow would have gone down is really if you had to pay more in taxes, or your rents went down. But the limitation on SALT taxes shouldn't have impacted your cash flow. You put an offer in yesterday. Let's see how it goes. That's awesome. This is tech. All right, let's look at BG's deal really quick. He's got this off-market deal. He's brought it over before. He's run some spreadsheet comps on it. Let's go ahead and look up his deal quickly. I'll post a link to the one he's looking at. Okay, this is an Idaho deal. I don't know, have we looked at this deal before? Either way, I'm going to post the link. SALT is state and local tax deduction. And basically there's now a limit when you own a property that you live in terms of how much you can write off. So let's see, it's $10,000 in like states like California for taxes, state and local taxes. And then there's some other limitations now on how much interest you can write off, but it all has to do with properties you live in. So I just posted this link here. I can't screen share today, unfortunately, but we're just gonna look at this deal, 499 West Bazanka Drive. So, okay, looking at the map here, let's see, we back up to the 44. The neighborhood looks awesome. I love the look of the houses. I love the age of the houses. BG, it sounds like you're going to be investing in this out of the area, which I'm not super excited about, that you'd be investing in an out of area market. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1552 square feet, which I do like that. Let's look at the comps you gave me. Thank you, by the way, for putting this spreadsheet together. That's awesome. We're going to go down the list of the comps that you gave and find out what we think here. So we've got our first comp is 451 West Convenalve. Anyway, all right, so what do we got here? 3 and 2 sold for $242 in the summer. So is there something wrong with the condition? The condition was pretty move-in ready. That's a pretty low comp. Let's see where the location of that one was. Is the conditions relatively similar? The location's actually further away from the 44 freeway. So folks, if you click on that link and you go to the map, you're going to see that this property backs up to the 44, highway or freeway or state road, whatever it is, looks like a busy road, right? The first comp that BG gives us in our Discord is a property that's actually on a cul-de-sac on the other side of the neighborhood, well, a few streets over, essentially 3 houses away. And now we get another comp from December on Shadow Fox. That's $281,000 as a sold comp, but it's 200 square feet larger, and it seems to be also away from the state road. You might have walked on the neighborhood a little bit. Looks like you kind of walked away. That's pretty far away of a comp. It's a completely different neighborhood. see what else you got. 225 for a smaller one, 273. Now we're sort of leaving the neighborhood. Okay, let me just look specifically within the neighborhood here quickly. Then I'll get back to you folks here in the live chat. So I really love looking, if I can, anytime possible, specifically within the individual neighborhood. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually just drawing a circle around that Zillow link just to run to see what kind of sold comps we have within the neighborhood itself. And it looks like the very last sold comp we have most recently within the neighborhood is actually a $365,000 comp, which is the last comp that you had actually given me. And this one sold at 1690 square feet, built in 2005, couple hundred square feet larger, about 150 square feet larger than yours still. And it's about 9 years newer. So it's still a different neighborhood, different tract here. So that's really the only comp we can hang our hat on for going up in value. The problem is that place is completely remodeled, highly upgraded. Let me show you folks this link here. This is one of the comps that is being used. Take a peek at this link. I'm pasting this for you right here. You'll see this link I just put in here, and then the first link I put. So pop those open, and you're going to find the 499 Bazanka is right off the state road, kind of backs up to a busy road. And the only comp we're really using to pull the value up is one that is 9 years newer. And look at the pictures. It's beautiful. I mean, the upgraded baseboards, the upgraded flooring, everything, the light fixtures, the plumbing fixtures, the carpet's new, the fireplace mantle, the crown molding, the kitchen, everything is newer in this one. I think this one's beautiful. So as far as the one that you're linking in comps, which has been listed as a rental before, looking inside, there's an element of a photography difference as well, but you can tell the 9-year difference when you go through your pictures. The white appliances, the lack of stone counters, the floorings of a different quality. I mean, it's still a cute neighborhood, nice house, but I think you definitely have a struggle with comps on your deal. So your price would be $495. You'd list it for $310. Well, first of all, I think listing it for $310 based on what I'm seeing here would be a mistake. It seems like everything in your neighborhood is going for under $3. I'd probably go no more than $299. And I somewhat agree with you. I kind of think closer to $270 is going to be a little bit closer to value. It's difficult when there are not as many comps in your actual neighborhood. I really love those comps in the neighborhood, but even the comps that we did see within the neighborhood, they're not that exciting, mostly because yours backs up to a busy road, and the other comps within the neighborhood from Midsummer are all sub $250,000. And $295 for you, and you back up to the busy road. Not excited about that. So, all right, we got Nick here. I live in Orange County, and all the places are super expensive. Is it worth buying a place next to a popular area, South Coast Plaza, that is $100K more than a very similar place in Anaheim or Oceanside? Nick, I would focus on where you live. If you live by the South Coast Plaza, which I get excited about every time because it's right next to IKEA, I would buy right next to IKEA. That IKEA is awesome. Although Burbank just built a bigger one. No, I mean, I would not move to an area that you're clueless about just because you could shave off $100,000. $100,000 in financing costs you $600 a month. You could just as easily, try to get a little bit of a larger place and, rent out another room. So, I mean, the 3 and 2 places I would be house hacking, I'd go for it, man. I would go for it. But I would do it within your neck of the woods. Everybody always wants to invest far away because it always seems like the grass is greener somewhere else. But I'll tell you, when you get somewhere else, it's the same exact stuff. So Matt's got a random question. Oh, wait, and we got this one here. Daniel, what's up here? I just finished fixing my credit, paid off a bunch of debt, shot from, look at that, 605 to 740. Should I wait a few more months or just before applying, or go for it? Man, I'd say go for it. If you got the money now, you've got the credit, go for it. Apply for a loan, even if you just get that pre-approval letter and you listen to our Circles lectures and you follow the advice of how to find your lender and start getting that list of things to do. It's going to put you on the path to buying a lot sooner. You'll be much more motivated to look at deals and see what's going on out there. So, all right, Matt has this random question. Home Depot missed earnings and is down. What does that say about the market, if anything? Home Depot and Lowe's were always lagging indicators of what's happening in the real estate marketplace. So let's see, they fell from 191 to 187. Not that massive, but yeah, about 6%. The thing I found about home over the course here, what I found about Home Depot and Lowe's is really last summer they were booming, but the real estate market had slowed down. Their stocks didn't start falling until like September, October, along with the rest of the marketplace. So it was interesting. I wasn't that excited about using them as an indicator. 5.5 refinance on investment property high these days. It is, but it depends. Is it a condo? Are you getting a credit back? And what is your credit? I just signed a refinance yesterday for 5.125%, getting a small credit back on a jumbo loan. So yeah, I mean, then we're also doing a cash out refinance on another one, which cash out gets penalized as well on another one that's not as large of a loan, and that one's 4.75. So you got a little bit of a fluctuation there. 5.5, I'd be wondering, is it a condo? Like what is penalizing you on the rate? It does seem a little bit higher, but there could be a reason for it. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's do another deal here. All right, here we go. What is this? Thinking about buying a duplex here in Seattle. Scuffy. So I'll link it here in the chat so you guys can see it as well. Replying around 21:35 today. Yeah, I actually really like this live stream where I could just webcam with y'all. It's so much simpler, but I can't screen share with you though. That's the only downside. Copy. Let's paste this over here. Let's see. A single family cash out in Arizona. I don't know, man. That seems odd. Are you getting points back? Joe, did I miss your question? I must have. Oh, can you expand on the strategy you mentioned in one of your videos about starting a wholesaling business if you were not an agent? If you're not an agent. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we'll analyze this duplex and then we'll talk wholesaling here in a second. All right. So what do we got here? This is a duplex at 1729 Northeast North Gateway. Let's start North Gateway. The first thing I always do is I'm looking at the map. It's a through street. I mean, I'm zooming out of Seattle here. This is north of Seattle. And it is, I mean, that looks like a busy road. Unfortunately, I'm never a big fan of that. What do we got? We got some shopping plazas around the corner. Let's do a Google Maps. So here's another thing I like to do is I'll just copy the address, go to Google Maps, because Google Maps will give you an idea as to what's actually going around in the area. We got some schools, we got some parks, TJ Maxx, 24-hour fitness, Barnes & Nobles, Northgate Mall. I do like that. Bluefin Seafood, you're right down the street from a mall and a movie theater. That's great on the other side. So you're between the mall area, which seems to be popping with stores and apartment buildings and a lot of excitement. The hospital's over on that side. The schools are on that side. The college is on that side. Now you go to the other side and you get the car dealerships, the high school, the middle school, the Wendy's. So I was trying to get a feel for the area by understanding what kind of businesses there are. So you're smack dab in the middle of those. I have a feeling it's going to be a very busy road, given that you seem to be the artery that connects those. So not a fan at all about that. Let's look at the road, though. Just went Street View. I mean, maybe it's not as busy, but then again, it depends when Google Street View took this. Okay, now it looks like your deal is actually, it doesn't front the busy street. If I'm correct about this, your backyard faces the busy street, or is that your driveway to get off of it? I can't quite tell because you have a lot of bushes back there, but that could be a good thing. See, but the picture you have here has it like right on the busy road. So maybe I'm just looking at the wrong place. Anyway, look at the Redfin listing here. We got ourselves a duplex. And what is this? This is a 2-story. The larger unit is a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I love that. So imagine that. You occupy that. You can house hack it and then also rent out the other unit next to it. Built in 1991. I like that. It's newer. That's great. You've got a lease in place until July. That's okay. Smaller unit is a 3-in-1 with a month-to-month tenant and under market rents. I love that. Great opportunity to raise the rents. Great. So let's see what you wrote I'm also thinking about house hacking it by living in one of the bedrooms in the smaller unit, 3-in-1. That's fine. The only issue is that's the one you have the one bath in. So in a theory, I was personally thinking you go into the 4, you keep yourself a private bath if you want it. But yeah, definitely house hacking it is an opportunity there. Renting out the other 2 bedrooms along with the other unit. The smaller unit is definitely under market as it is as is marked. Okay, great. Looking at the rental comps, I could get about 2.2K for the 3-in-1 since I'm living in one of the bedrooms, and I could get 750 to 800 each of the other rooms. Good. The other unit is just a little under market value. I think it can maybe raise it $100. My concern is that it recently went pending under inspection and the deal fell through. It also seems like I can't schedule a tour without having an accepted offer on the place, which is a little nerve-wracking as a first-time home buyer. Don't worry about it. Just write an offer. It's not a big deal. You get so many protections in a contract. You go in there, and let's say it was in escrow. Get your agent to figure out what it was in escrow for. It's listed at 808.5, which to me is dumb. Why they would list it for 808.5 is totally dumb, because I mean, if they just listed it for 799.9, they would open up to a totally different marketplace. Just write the offer. You know, try to figure out the lowest offer that would be acceptable to them. Write the offer, get into the deal, look at the deal, and then figure it out. You can always walk away. Just make sure you got your contingencies in place. The property is also located a few minutes from a bus stop on somewhat busy street, which raises the concern for resale. It's not so much a resale concern because, like you said, you plan on not to sell for a long time. It's an issue of the tenants being unhappy because they're on a busy street. So it's just I mean, you probably got dual pane windows in this place. It's not what they say. They rebuilt part of it in when they rebuilt it. Built-in duplex, larger unit. Oh, the larger unit was built in '91. So it's a house and it's almost like 2 houses on one lot. Okay, I'm betting on this area. There's a light rail that's coming. All right. Yeah, so I would be concerned as well about the let's see. Yeah, the older unit is definitely the older unit. When you look through the pictures, you can tell the first pictures are the older unit. I like the backyard. I don't like the location. I'd love to see you find something maybe different. But if you were interested in getting onto the inside, write the offer, find out how cheaply you can get this, and then run the comps and see how they compare. Have your agent run duplex comps. It's very difficult to do that just from Redfin and Zillow. At that point, when you're looking at units, you absolutely need to have an agent running comps for you. And then bring those comps, upload them over here, and throw them down. Okay, well, one more question, then we'll talk about the wholesale business part. Karam asks, but we're responding at 2736 in live. A 15-year mortgage versus a 30-year mortgage for a rental property. Interest rate on the 15-year is 4.45 and the 30-year is 5.85. Wow. You're getting penalized for some reason on whatever it is that you're trying to buy, because those are high interest rates on both ends. Should be able to get a lower rate, but it could be a credit thing. It could be if you have a co-borrower, the type of loan you're doing. There are a lot of reasons why. If it's townhouse or whatever, your rates might go up. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of the 15-year loan because I find it more entertaining, at least, to be in what I call the growth phase. That is, you try to acquire as much real estate as possible. We talk about this in the lectures as well, but I'll give you a quick recap here. So you now transition into, let's say somebody's 40, 50, 60 years old. They want to retire sooner. They don't really want to focus on growth so much. They want to focus on paying off loans. The 15-year loan is excellent for paying off loans. The principal pay down lops off fast. It's a great opportunity. But if you're in that growth phase where you're trying to acquire property, I don't recommend it because it makes it a lot harder to qualify for future deals. And that's usually my recommendation, is do whatever you can to keep yourself in a position to where you can keep buying future deals. You're going to have a big negative if you go with a 15-year cash or 15-year mortgage. It's going to make qualifying a lot harder. So, all right, the question from Joe here is, was it Joe? Where is it? Yes, the question from Joe is starting a wholesale business. So here's the thing. A lot of real estate investors start with wholesaling real estate, and it's actually really good experience for you. The reason is you want to be able to do what wholesalers do to find deals in some sense. Now, you don't have to. I would venture to guess that maybe 10% of the deals that you actually do in your career will come from off-market wholesale opportunities, things like that. A lot of the deals that you do, they just end up hitting the MLS unless you're talking about 5+ units where you're in commercial real estate, which we talked about that in the last live stream too. But if you're looking at anything under 5 units, the duplex, triplex, fourplex, the single family, the condo, most of the deals you find that you're going to buy are going to be good deals that hit the MLS. You're fast, you got your pre-approval letter, you got the connections, you're asking the right questions, you get into the deal, you find it's a wedge deal, you lock it up, you buy it, you close it. Now, there is going to be the opportunity to get investment deals that or to start wholesaling to get the money to start investing. And in my opinion, the best way to do this is, first things first, you have to find the deals. And the difficulty in wholesaling is just that. The only limit to your income in wholesaling is finding the deals. There is no shortage of real estate investors. It'd be very, very simple to find real estate investors. Notice how you never see signs on poles that say things like, looking for real estate investors to buy good deals. You always see signs that say things like, we buy houses fast cash. It's because it's finding the deal that's the hard part. So I think this is it's hard and it's competitive because all real estate agents are doing this. All real estate agents are essentially wholesalers in that they want these listings as well. So real estate agents compete with you, other investors compete with you, and other wholesalers compete with you. So you have an endless amount of competition, which is okay. This doesn't mean you can't do it. But the correct thing to do is really find what's going to work in your market for finding the correct deals that need work. And usually what you're going to do is you drive for dollars, you look for properties that are distressed, you look up the tax rolls to get the contact information for these people, you contact the water department to see who's behind on water payments or who doesn't even have a water account set up. These are oftentimes abandoned properties. You try to get the contact information for these owners, and then you either knock on those people's doors or you call them up. Even if they're tenants or neighbors, you have to have sort of the cojones to go knock on all the doors and pick up the phone and call. And you keep grinding and grinding, eventually you'll find something. Now, that could be a good source of income. Most of the time, though, people that are interested, this is another risk factor to wholesaling. A lot of people that get interested in wholesaling, they end up finding a good deal, and then what happens? So they end up talking to a real estate agent or somebody else, and that seller, if they're not under contract with you yet, they end up jumping ship and going to list it on the MLS or selling it to somebody else. So very, very cutthroat industry. Not saying it can't be done. That's the way I would set it up, is nights and weekends, or during the day when I'm off. As a side hustle, I'd be driving around looking for my fixer-uppers, making my list, knocking on doors, making those phone calls. But no, it's competitive. Yes, you can make money from it. Yeah, you could probably get some money to start investing, but it's not the easiest money to make. You'd be better off doing door-to-door summer sales, honestly, if you were going to wholesale, my opinion, based on what I see with wholesaler income. All right, Derek says, would it be possible for you to someday show us exactly what local market data you track? Yeah, I have before. In fact, you know what? I can link it to you. Meet Kevin, how to time the market. I believe that was the video I did. Yeah, timing the market. 4 steps to time the market. We've talked about this in lectures as well, but I'm just going to link it for you all here. So check the chat right now, and you'll see that I have a link to a video that you should watch for that. I've been reviewing the past 6 months data from Redfin over the weekend, only to find the data was very poor. Yeah, something to keep in mind with Redfin too is they seem to be about 2 months behind with their data as well. So are land leases on condo a deal breaker? Yeah, I don't like land leases. I thought I found the perfect place only to find out the land lease was $2,100. Ooh, yeah, I don't like that. I like owning land because land goes up in value. I don't like being subject to somebody else that could raise the rent on me. I don't like it. Not saying it's wrong in all scenarios, but I'm not a fan of that. So I'm trying to better understand auctions. There are a lot more homes in really great areas that seem like they could be a good deal, but I'm ignorant on how auctions work. And then you sent a link here. Let's see here. So this is an auction, a family trust auction. Okay, so yeah, usually you go to the event. The big question is whether or not you can get financing. So what you want to do is you want to get in touch with your agent and have them get in touch with Larry Weiner here. And they're going to have a couple open houses, so go to those. And make sure let's see here. Yeah, find out if you can finance the deal, and also make sure that you're not overpaying for it. very, very common in these auctions is what's known as the auction effect kicks in. And when the auction effect kicks in, you're sometimes inclined to overpay. So in analyzing the deal, this is a 16, 18 square footer, a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's listed for $399 and they're trying to auction it, which usually means they're listing it under market value to get people there. But let's see if that's true. Let's look at some sold comps. It's 16, 18 square feet. We're going to start with that. And let's see what we got here. We got a house for sale for 605. I just want the comps within the neighborhood. Let's zoom in and we're going to draw in specifically the neighborhood, kind of just assuming where the neighborhood here is: Merced Ave, Silver Maple Drive, Pine Drive, Jupiter Way, all these. We're going to apply a circle to this. We're just going to look at comps within your neighborhood. So look, you've got a 1,700 square footer that sold for $493. That's a good comp. And yours, is that back up to a railway? Is that what that is over there? If that, yeah, that's a railway. Find out how busy that thing is. You know, is that the Amtrak that's coming blowing through there, or is that a small putt-putt train? Figure that out. Very, very important. You got another comp at 1,700 square feet on Pine Way at $475. Yeah, and then a model match comp for $485. So it looks like they're possibly underlisting this deal by somewhere between $70,000 to $80,000, but we don't know what the condition is on the inside. So if the condition is bad, you're going to want to discount the condition. The owner passed away in the property, so let's just assume it's original from '76. If you could get that deal for under $430, great. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets bid up. But do try that. If you could get that for $430, $440, pay auction fees, all in, could be a good deal. There's nothing wrong with you chasing auctions. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. Let's see what else we got. So is it different from a typical? Yeah, you just have to talk to the agent. Every auction is different as far as whether you have to pay cash or you can get financing. On interest rate, what interest rate would make you jump ship on the lender? For example, 5.5 and you find a 5.2. When is it worth making the change? Yeah, be careful, because in the interest rate marketplace, it does this. You kind of get this going on. And so sometimes you get quoted here, and then a few days later you get quoted here by somebody else. They're not necessarily a better lender. They're just quoting you on a different day and at a different market point. So be careful. Keep that in mind. To do a real apples to apples comparison, you have to shop both lenders the same day. But if you didn't lock your rate yet, you could shop lenders all you want. As soon as you lock your rate and you actually get into a deal, usually it's not such a great idea to jump ship in the middle of a deal. Things get pretty messy pretty dang fast. It also creates a rush in the deal, which is not so good. So let's see what other question we had here. Look at this. We got Alan. Alan in financing says, had a contract lock up, responding around 38 men in live today. Had a contract lock up, 20% down, 4.05 or 25% down for 3.0. Okay, 20% down for okay. All right, so Alan's got a deal under contract for $293,000, a 2-bedroom in West Loop, Chicago. Congratulations. Post your deal on Deal Analysis Escrows. We'd love to see it. And so right now you're trying to determine, should you put 20% down and get a rate of 4.05 or put 25% down for a rate of 3.85. I would, in addition to that rate difference, also try to find out what the points are for those loans, because it's possible, like that spread doesn't seem that bad, but it's quite possible that you could save even more money if you find out what the points are, what you're being charged for those two different rates. If they're both the 0-point rate, hey, you know what? And the place needs some work, maybe do the 20% down option. I'm not opposed to that. What else we got? Let's see. Anybody else have anything? We've got a couple more questions here in the Discord. Make sure to post your questions in the Discord, folks. I'm going to be replying a little bit more throughout the day after we fix our live stream software so we can get back to screen share. In the meantime, folks, thanks for being here. Worth the difference. Also, 4% were required to buy the lower rate. Yeah, take a peek. I was shopping lenders on the same day and had a difference of 4% and 3.875. But one agent prefers and can personally vouch for, the other he doesn't know. Worth the difference. 4% would require buy the lower rate. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes they're just if you shopped in the same day and there's a difference of $850 to get the same rate, yeah, you get that. You know, that's where you have to evaluate who's more likely to close the deal, right? Oftentimes, when I get these unknown online lenders, they don't really have a reputation to protect, and there's a problem when a lender doesn't have a reputation to protect because they don't really care if your deal goes through or not, or if they jerk around the other agent and cause problems for you, hurt your reputation potentially. So keep these things in mind. There's more to money in negotiating in real estate, especially if you can get a better deal because you're using a local lender. They're both local lenders. Hey, I don't know that there's anything wrong with going with the cheaper one then, especially if they have a good reputation. Look up their reviews, talk to people who've worked with them before. Maybe even ask for some references, you know, call some prior loans they've closed. Hey, how was it? How smooth was it? Any unexpected issues? So folks, there you have it. I'm gonna take off. I love y'all, and we will see you again on Thursday. See you soon. Oh, and make sure to go to the go into the tour. Find me when I'll be in your location. We're actually gonna post the other 3 locations very soon. Love to meet you guys in person. There's the link, so go check it out. We'll see you, folks.